going through that where everybody was like, no, you're not good enough. You don't have enough experience. It certainly puts you down, but at the same time, from those experiences, like you said, throughout hockey, you're just like, no, like I got to get through this. I'm going to work hard. I will find a way, and you end up. I think a huge part. I mean, me getting the job with Pepsi, as much as I hated it, a big part, the biggest part of how I got that was a cousin of mine knew somebody there, and he used to work for Pepsi, and so I think a huge thing is networking as much as you can. If you're in a hockey career long, make sure that in the summers and stuff that you're not just hanging with your boys all the time. Try to just get to know some other people. I know back when I was playing and I was young, that wasn't something that I really liked to do. It was just like, no, I'm staying with my boys. Like we only have so much time, right? But it is important to just meet other people, and because when you know somebody, it goes a long way, man.
Right. No doubt. I mean, that's such an important point because, especially with hockey, it is easy to stay within that circle. And a lot of times, it doesn't seem worth it or that there's any point, right? But the time does come in everyone's career when we need to switch gears, we need to switch industries, or we need to find out what to do next, and to be able to have even the experience of talking to other people that are doing other things, and being able to give them a phone call and say, hey, like, what are you doing? You work at Pepsi, what's that like? Getting that experience can just give you such a leg up as far as not needing to go through feeling like you got no options, and just kind of being stuck in a rut. And I also wanted to talk here about you not leaving Pepsi, you saying that you just didn't, the passion wasn't there for you, and just how important that was, that you weren't just doing a job for money and being stuck with that. And especially coming off of, leaving the game of hockey, and how that story that you came up, with the four fundamentals that you knew as far as what your passion was going to be, it had to be circled around those four things. But that decision to leave Pepsi, what really went into that? I mean, you could have kept, I'm sure, making some good money and continued down that path. And I'm sure that there's opportunity after some seniority or some tenure there that, your schedule would have lightened up and your position would have changed. But what made you decide that, hey, the paycheck isn't exactly what I'm going for? You needed to find your passion.
Yeah. And that was true. Like that was a big selling point as to why I even was happy to get a job there, because PepsiCo is worldwide. There is plenty of room to advance and promote. So I was excited, and starting out, and this was back again in 2014. Starting out, I think it was 52,000 starting out, but then it builds as you go, and so I was excited about that. But yeah, like you said, when I started realizing how much I hated it, it took a little while for me to kind of like, I would have battles in my own head being like, man, I'm making good money here. If I just grind it out, like I'll promote, which like you said, it does get easier. But it's still, even the job that was next in line for where I was a job that I did not want at all. Like I saw what they were doing too. Even though it was easier, it still was just one that I was like, man, that it just doesn't give me a sense of purpose at all. Personally, other guys love it. Other guys have great careers there, but so it was going back and forth, like, man, I've never quit anything in my life. I'm not going to quit now. Like, and then I would keep going. And then at the end of that week, I'd be like, I'm done. It ain't going on anymore. I'm done. I'd be like, no, I can't quit. I'm not a quitter. Da, da, da. And then, but it just got to the point. It's like, man, put your pride away. Like you can, I don't think it's considered, like, quitting is a bad word to me, like a bad word to use in that situation. It's like a change is a better word, I guess. And but finally I pulled the plug. I was like, man, I can't do this anymore. Like, this is not giving me a sense of purpose. I'm not enjoying this at all. I won't like the job that I get if I get promoted. It's just like, where is this going to end? And this is not, you have one life on this earth, man. And it's like, I need to figure something out that I will enjoy. And at this point, I can't handle living this life anymore. So I need to go. So it was tough though, because I mean, I still had rent to pay and whatnot. So I don't know if I mentioned earlier, but I then got into construction just to like, I got a construction gig to pay some bills. And I also, as we'll talk about with firefighting, it's good to get trades, to have trade experience or anything that like that with hands-on, like they like to see that. So I was like, well, if I'm going to make money somehow, I might as well try to get a construction gig. So
right. No, I think that's you talking about quitting, and you know, a lot of times even just the energy that we put into words, you know, can have such a factor on our mindset, right? And quit, you know, that automatically causes that reaction with you where you're like, I'm not quitting, you know, and you know, transitioning or changing, you know, is such a better way of looking at it, because I admire your courage for having the awareness to realize that, you know, it just wasn't for you, you know, and instead of being stuck down that road. And you know, like you said, there's guys that go that route that are in a sales position, or working within Pepsi, and can really see their future there. And for you to not see that, that takes a lot of courage, especially when you don't have something immediately lined up, you know, at the time to say, hey, you know what, that I really enjoyed the line that you said, that you have one life. You know, I think a lot of people can realize that, but they really don't understand the severity of it, or they don't really give it the severity or the weight that it deserves within their life, right? I mean, you're in control. You don't want to be looking down the road and looking back and just, you know, looking at time lost, looking at opportunity lost, and to just kind of nip that in the bud and just say, hey, you know, now's my time to really take control of my life, and where you want to go, and having a bit of a vision as far as the direction that you want to go, and realizing that, you know, you needed to take a little bit of action to have some control over that, because ultimately it is you that controls, you know, the path of that life that you do have. You mentioned going into school, and you took the school as 2 months. I love that story also of calling your mom. And getting getting
like 25 years old. Mom,
yeah, yeah, getting a little kick in the butt, and just you know, just, you know, we always need that guidance, you know, someone that you trust that's going to be able to kind of put things into perspective when you're a little tightly tied to the situation. It can kind of be hard to see, but I'm sure you're thankful that you saw it through. Once you, as far as the schooling itself, was that all literature as far as, you know, tests and books, or was there a physical component at that stage?
No, yeah, with Lakeland, and again, it's different in different schools. But where we were, we would have um, in class stuff. Early on, I think for the first week, again, it's all kind of a blur, but early on, I believe like the first week was like all in class. I'm pretty sure, other than like just going out and just like becoming aware with some of the gear and whatnot. But then it kind of turned into you would do like classroom in the morning, and then lunch, and then practical in the afternoons, where you'd actually be going through what you learned in the book. And then there was testing, like written tests, but then there was also practical testing as well, and it was all kind of mixed throughout, and quizzes and whatnot. But then there was like the two big tests, like the level 1 test, which put everything together from a big part of the book, and then you would go into doing a bunch of quizzes and learning and whatnot for the level 2 stuff. And then you'd have the big test at the end of the course for your level 2. Yeah, and
Right.
but it was
Did
awesome.
you did you have an aha moment? You said at the start, you're like, I don't know if I can do this. What was there a TSN turning point for you as far as a snaps, a snap of the finger, like you did something, whether it be like the practical or you saw the gear, kind of got a taste as far as what the life might be, and that was kind of like, no, this is what I want.
Yeah, there was. Well, like, so after that first day, I remember the rest of the week, like I went out and we had lunch, and a buddy of mine, Aaron Maneg, he works in Winnipeg as a firefighter now. He had this massive lifted truck, and I remember thinking, like, who's this guy, bud? But he's a beauty, like such a salt of the earth guy. But I remember just thinking, like, man, I like this guy. This guy's a good dude. And then a guy named Sean Forbes, like, he was another guy, like, just a country boy, like, solid dude that just, like, he'd give you the shirt off his back. And I just remember thinking, like, man, I'm enjoying these guys. Like, this is like-minded guys. It kind of reminded me of hockey, with just being around guys that, for the most part, you get along with well. Those were two of my boys, but then there were, like, everybody else in the platoon I got along with. I was like, okay, like, like that this is a group of people that is very similar to hockey. People that want to work as a team, want to, like, accomplish things as a team, are putting themselves in situations that are tough, but, like, the reward is good. Just like a bunch of different things, like you play around and whatnot until it's game time, and then it's time to get serious. And that's the same with firefighting. Anyway, I kind of felt that as the schooling started going. I was like, man, I'm enjoying this. But then one thing that really kind of, it made me feel good and kind of made me be like, okay, this is something, like, I can do this. We had a quiz, and they would tell you who got top score in the quiz. And I mean, you know me from living with me, I'm a bit of a goofball, like, and there's some things that you can't really take me seriously on. And sometimes I sound like an idiot.
Not true, not idiot. That's a harsh word.
Yeah. But I ended up getting the top mark in the quiz, and the boys all started calling me Rain Man.
Well, it's almost kind of like a training camp vibe. It seems like, when you kind of show up and you're not really sure what to expect. Half you is kind of like, I got to meet all these guys. How's it going to go? You almost don't know what to expect, or you might expect, like, yeah, I'm not. Maybe I don't have any buddies in this team, or maybe it's just you're not exactly sure what the vibe is, and then you get a chance to
Yeah.
meet, and it always ends up being a great experience. But just that feeling, you're almost like giddy. It's like being a young kid at school, and you're like,
Yeah.
I got new friends. Like, yeah,
For sure, man.
it's got like that. Yeah, just being like in kindergarten or grade 1, you're like, all of a sudden you meet someone new, and you're just you just get a good feeling from it. That's hilarious. Rain Man, not bad nickname for an idiot.